Before we start this review this week, I need to get something off my chest about the WWE product in general right now. Never have I been less interested in a WWE show. Never have I been less interested in a Raw show. Never have I been less interested in the WWE product right now. And to be honest with you, if you guys were to come up to me in person and ask me, why do I watch WWE? I would not be able to give you a legitimate reason. There is nothing right now I particularly enjoy about a WWE show. The only reasons I could give you as to why I watch these shows is that it gives me a chance to hang around with one of my best friends, NJ, and it gives me a chance to comment and respond to your comments and do entertaining YouTube videos. But other than that, I really don't have that legitimate of a reason as to why I watch WWE anymore. And it is really playing on my nerves, especially lately. Now, this leads us on to our topical video, which we're going to be doing this Wednesday. It's going to be entitled something in the lines of, why are people tuning out the products? And what we're basically going to go through in this video is why people are tuning out of the current WWE products. And me and NJ are going to do a little commentary on that. It might go quite a long time. There are a lot of reasons why. We invite you to watch that video on Wednesday, as it should be one where we let out some emotions and some real raw thoughts on WWE's product right now.
And that's the thing, because over the time now, the WWE have all these great ideas, they don't last long, and the entertainment side of the WWE is becoming really less of a thing in the company. And especially with this Raw, yes, they did some things right, which we'll get to in the video, but some of it was too late and not really feel like a good show. Which, yes, brings us to Wednesday, and also brings us to possibly Friday, where our SmackDown review will be something completely different, so be sure to check that out.
Yeah, and I just want you to do these YouTubers a favour, NJ. Just describe the atmosphere when in the living room when we're watching Raw. It's a very bleak atmosphere, would you not say? Raw is just very boring. There's very little to be excited about.
Sadly, I'm going to say this. When it comes to Raw, which is 3 hours, which gives us a long time together, plus the hour before where we're hanging out together, when it actually comes to watching Raw, things are really quiet. The positivity of talking and connect with each other is not really there. But as you know me, I do try to throw a few jokes here and there to lighten stuff up. But then when I've lightened stuff up, the WWE will do something that's outrageously not right, and it'll bring the mood back down. Yeah. So to be honest, it's really affecting the 3 hours outside of the WWE watching.
And the 3 hours that we indeed have cherished spending together pretty much every week now for the last 2 years, especially while doing these videos. So with that personal message out of the way now, we will get on to the Raw review. Couple of things we would like to mention before we get into this Raw review. OK Fabe's poll, we want to plug out there again. He's got over 100 votes on that now. If you want to vote for your best wrestler of all time, go to the poll, which will be in the description box below.
And that's the thing, because with this poll, it is something that's different, something that's going to get interaction going. So I highly recommend you please vote for your top wrestler of all time in the survey in the description box. And let's get this going, and we'll find out who the #1 wrestler is the week after TLC.
And I voted Hogan. Who did you vote for? I guess we'll see that a secret, just like WWE kept some secrets tonight. And also, today was the day, actually it's tomorrow, 7 years since Eddie Guerrero passed away. I think we should remember that in this week's review, as I didn't really see many things on YouTube or Twitter or Facebook about this.
No, the sad thing about this, the fact that there was only Vicky Guerrero who didn't really do a little thing here. Maybe she's done one in the dark thing on Raw, but we don't get to see that here. But it's a bit sad that they've just missed that opportunity. But here's the British Fist doing our tribute to the great Eddie Guerrero.
Indeed, Eddie Guerrero was a fantastic wrestler and also, you know, a fantastic man. And he had to go through a lot of demons to get to where he was in the WWE. And we really do think that, especially on a day like today, we're probably going to be quite negative in this review. But we will try our best to stay as positive as we can for Eddie Guerrero's sake, because he would not want us to be negative about this show. But to be honest with you, I'm probably going to end up burying most of this show, if I'm honest with you, NJ, to be honest with you. Despite the fact that I want to make this review positive for Eddie Guerrero's passing, of course, 7 years ago.
There's some things to this Raw which I'm going to get to, which I think they did right because they needed to, because it's the last chance for Survivor Series. But again, the main problem is they've done it a week late compared to the last 2 shows.
Yeah, and Survivor Series build has just been fucked up and, you know, in so many ways. We did a video about that last week, but let's just, because we're 5 minutes in right now, we still haven't got to the Raw review, so let's just get to this. Randy Orton versus Ziggler opened the show, because we know we haven't seen this match about 10 million times, and apparently The news is that these two are going to be dominating the title picture at some point down the line. We've seen these guys face off so many times, NJ, and this match only lasted 3 fucking minutes, and I'm supposed to buy that Ziggler is the captain of the Survivor Series team, and he loses to fucking Orton in 3 minutes, despite the Del Rio interference. What the fuck booking is this?
This is the thing I want to say. With this match, what many people on Twitter say, I'm always on that during Raw, that even though this has been a repeated match, you know these two are going to perform in a way that they should have done, but they couldn't do it in 3 minutes. And Del Rio interfering, again, they're continuing the feud with Orton. Ziggler not picking up the win, even with that distraction. I think it's a bit of a shame, because Ziggler should be getting big wins over big names, and this match would have been his opportunity if the WWE booked it right.
Yeah, and Ziggler is now the captain of the team, because Vince McMahon decided to shoot on the UK Raw and make a new main event because he didn't feel the 5-on-5 Survivor Series match was giving enough buzz. Yeah, and then you have Ziggler and Del Rio go to town on Orton, which got some decent heat. You had Kofi coming in and clearing the ring. Then out comes Teddy Long to make a tag match, Orton and Kofi versus Del Rio and Ziggler. I guess my question is here, instead of having Ziggler eat a pin, why didn't you just have this match to open the show? It would have just made the whole process so much easier and so much more better flowing for the start of the show.
The only question is, if it did open the match, you've got Orton and Kofi, who are like best friends for this Survivor Series match, when they had the whole reason, Kofi Kingston, you've been held back for so long, and one of the big reasons in your career is your tag team partner for this match.
Does fucking stupid remind everyone of the fact that now Kofi Kingston, no one will ever buy him as a main eventer because Randy Orton, the guy who he's tagging with right now, buried him in 2009, which is why no one is ever going to get behind a Kofi Kingston push. Do you even remember who won this match? I think it was Del Rio.
Sadly, it came to the back of Del Rio, I'm pretty sure, yes.
Yeah, and Kofi, who the hell is going to get behind a Kofi push, really, at this point in time? 2009 was the time to do that. Frickin' hell, way to not build that guy up. In the next segment, Cena and AJ scandal. Yeah, because we all don't think this is bogus and that Vicky Guerrero has no real evidence, so why even continue doing this, even though apparently Cena is supposed to be in a WWE Championship match, which Vince McMahon shooted last week on the Raw, and, you know, and well done for going with your Be a Star campaign as well, WWE. Another hypocrisy you keep putting out there. Especially on the 7-year anniversary of Eddie Guerrero's death, you decide to freaking make a fat joke about Vicky Guerrero, even though you're supposed to be about anti-bullying and being a star and oh my god this, and just fuck WWE for that, seriously.
I really thought this segment was a bit of a shame. They're continuing this feud with Vicky Guerrero and AJ, or Cena and AJ and Vicky. Ziggler got involved, so obviously they're teasing the Cena and Ziggler feud, I'm guessing. But this whole segment, this whole storyline, I'm hoping it comes to an end, but it looks like it's going to continue after Survivor Series, and I don't see why anyone would be behind this storyline, especially when it's a TNA ripoff, and plus it's C and AJ, the two people I personally complain about, in a segment together.
Did you really care about this segment?
Not much at all.
Did you care about the Claire Lynch when they did TNA and TNA
Not
did it?
one bit.
Exactly. So what does that say about that segment? WWE copying TNA's one of TNA's worst storylines for quite some time, and they've had some bad ones. Next, we're going to focus on the World Championship build. I think they'll save most of this for SmackDown. So on Raw, they got a couple of filler segments. You had Big Show versus William Regal. Big Show beats William Regal in very short order, and then out comes Sheamus to save the day, as your typical WWE babyface would do.
It was good to see Regal wrestling. Like I said when the 3-hour Raws started, I do want to see the appearance of wrestlers that have not been used, don't decide to get used. To see Regal for another week going was good, but obviously Regal was used for this Big Show and Sheamus feud. And
Regal was essentially used as a sort of pawn in the storyline, I guess. Sheamus versus Otunga happened. Sheamus wins, of course, later in the night. Then you have the backstage attack with Big Show attacking Regal. Like I said, using Regal as a pawn to advance the storyline. I imagine they'll probably do some bigger things on this on SmackDown, if that is possible.
Yeah, it was a bit weird, 'cause during the match they showed you a backstage group of wrestlers just watching Sheamus' match for some reason. But then obviously it came clear that they were all Big Show was going to attack was going to attack Regal, and it led to that. Okay, you're continuing that thing, which was good. And yes, I do agree. On SmackDown, we're probably going to get more continuation of this before Survivor Series.
We had a last-minute number 1 contenders match, Caitlyn versus Layla. So the Divas don't get any entrances. They wrestle for literally 1 minute, and we're supposed to care about a match between Caitlyn and Eve Torres. 1 minute. I mean, Fucking hell. You might as well just get rid of the Divas division if you're going to be treating it like this. Seriously, a 3-hour show and you can only feature the Divas division for 1 minute? I mean, fucking hell. One of 5 pay-per-view matches, by the way.
Very true. Caitlyn versus Eve, there we go.
Pretty much. Jerry Lawler's return. This segment is going to spark off a lot of controversy and is the reason why we put it as the video title. We'll go through the segment first and then we'll discuss the big talking point later on. First question to you, NJ, was... has it been better without Lawler on commentary? Because I really enjoyed Lawler not being on commentary, despite the fact I know he had a heart attack and stuff like that.
The big question about that is, on commentary, it's like Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler, the icons of the commentary era.
JBL
that was
too.
very good. Well, JBL came eventually, but it was Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler, which was the heart of it. So to have Michael Cole and JR call him out was a nice warm bit into this. But the answer to your question... even though Jerry Lawler is the classical commentator, without him being there, it's not really felt that much different. You still had powerful speakers on the commentary table.
It's very similar to when when Orton went missing on SmackDown. You didn't really notice it, and with Lawler not on commentary, honestly, I felt it was much better. But we get to this segment where Lawler comes out, gets his congratulations, gets his big pop as he deserves, and then he gets interrupted by CM Punk. Now, this segment really does depend on which side of the fence you fall on. Some people will say it's edgy TV. Some people will say it really wasn't edgy TV. It was more, how would you describe it, tasteless. You have CM Punk coming out saying, he beat him to death and calling it a stunt. And then they have that fake heart attack with Paul Heyman. And I'm sitting there thinking, 7 years ago, Eddie Guerrero died from a freaking heart failure, and you're fucking putting this shit out. This was tasteless as fuck, in my opinion.
I look at this, and I do think, obviously, the whole, if Jerry Lawler agrees with it, again, you can't really bash that because it was agreed. But the thing is, there is a limit to how far you can go with agreement. Yes, you agree to that, but the fact that CM Punk, he had no hesitation with what he was doing, he just went on and on and on, saying more things related to death and how he's glad this happened and blah, blah, blah. It just went on. CM Punk was digging more of a deep hole. So to be honest, agreed it or not, CM Punk took this to a whole new level of lowness, I'd say.
Distaste. I mean, he did do you got to admit, to go that low must have taken a lot of guts, even though they did kind of, just similar to when Randy Orton said Eddie's in hell, or whatever they said about Eddie that time. And then out comes Mick Foley, who in my opinion has saved the segment, because you have some real raw emotion for Mick Foley talking about CM Punk, and then we get the announcement that he is going to be the enforcer for the main event of the evening between CM Punk and John Cena.
The thing about this... the thing Mick Foley and CM Punk, because of last week, they moved away from the CM Punk and Foley thing, but with Foley obviously being long-term friends with Jerry Lawler, he was the best one to come out and cut this. He's the one who raised his voice saying, how dare you do this? Jerry Lawler's a legend and you went far to talk about his death, he could have died. That was very good, great talker, stood up to CM Punk. But obviously CM Punk was acting like, I don't care what you're saying, and just continued his bad mouthing. I
guess we can get one thing from this. We know Linda McMahon's Senate campaign is now definitely over. Now they're doing this, because they would have never have done this in a million freaking years. Vince would never have signed up on this if Linda McMahon was doing her Senate campaign. And the ultimate question here really is, was it in bad taste or was it edgy TV? Answer in the comment section. Please. I think that'll be the big talking point. Answer in the comment section, edgy TV or distasteful TV. Give us your thoughts. Sin Cara and Ray and Gabriel and Kid versus Primetime Players and Epico and Primo. First thing I thought here was, well, this would have been a decent Survivor Series match if they gave it a little bit of build. Now they've got it on free TV.
The thing about this match, matches like this should be happening on Raw on a more regular basis, just because this brings entertainment. This brings great matches to Raw and that. If I was going to have this at the pay-per-view, I would have had this end with a big brawl, all tag teams attacking each other. Yeah. Yes, you got base attacking base, but who cares? It would have been a great way to give us a great match on Raw and then a great pay-per-view match set up.
They could have. I mean, they've got a pretty good tag team division right now. They could have made us like another Survivor Series match out of the... I mean, they'll probably have it at the pay-per-view, I imagine, but Gabriel gets the win, and it's like, well, I've already seen this on TV now, so at the pay-per-view it wouldn't really seem that special. You know, most of the match happened during the commercial break, even though the match was probably the most entertaining, one of the most entertaining matches of the night, really.
And the thing is, the only match I can see from this, because of what Ray and Sin Cara did, is that there's going to be a rematch against the Primetime Players at Survivor Series.
Maybe. Who really knows what they're going to do? I mean, they've only got 5 matches announced. I mean, for fuck's sake, it's a Big 4 pay-per-view. Wasn't Fandango supposed to debut tonight? They said he was going to debut next week, and all we saw was a vignette, and it's Johnny Curtis. I mean, do you really care about Johnny Curtis, especially after that, I got a chip on my shoulder? Do you give a shit about Johnny Curtis? Because I really don't. He's one of my big buzzkills on NXT.
One word. Who?
Exactly. R-Truth versus Tensai with Antonio Cesaro on commentary. It's amazing to see how far the Tensai character has come down, but R-Truth gets the win very quickly. I guess my overall question here would be, how bad is WWE's mid-card right now? I mean, for fuck's sake, you know, it's almost like one Survivor Series match, 5-on-5 Survivor Series match, has meant that, you know, the whole of the roster now is like, there's no mid-card now because everything is involved in that one Survivor Series match. One Survivor Series match, when they used to be able to put 3 out there, shows you the real lack of depth in roster right now in WWE. I don't give a shit about R-Truth versus Antonio Cesaro, in all honesty.
Even though, for a while now, I think this was one of Cesaro's, when he came down to the ring, one of his strong promos. R-Truth joke at the end, it teased it, gave us the match that normally cares about, but involvement, even though they involved the US title, but not Barrett, but moving away from that. The thing about this is they've got loads of wrestlers, like Alex Riley's not there, Yoshi's not there, so to be honest, there is a more of a mid-card, it's just the WWE are not booking their large roster they have.
So it's generic US title feud number 4 or 5 that we really don't give a crap about, really, and it's a Survivor Series. I mean, come on, WWE, this is a Big 4 pay-per-view. This is one of 2 matches on the pay-per-view that I really couldn't care about, and there's only 5. I mean, for fuck's sake. We had the choice between Miz, Ryder, and Santino in terms of who was going to be on Team Foley. They kind of teased a Miz face turn. They made it real easy, didn't they, by just rigging the votes.
To be honest, for weeks and weeks now, even like after Hell in a Cell, I could predict that The Miz was going to have some big involvement at the pay-per-view. There were so many clues. The poster, the fact that The Miz, we need a new face in the WWE to be up in the main event scene, and the fact that as soon as Miz fell out of the heel side, answer was there.
And you predicted it last weekend, Jay, so we've got to give you props on that one. You predicted something WWE did, which is very hard to do, seeing as with all the last-minute booking they do on these shows, which is one of the things we're going to be discussing in the Wednesday video. Brad Maddox versus Ryback. You know, this had the ability to be an interesting angle, but they kind of just didn't. I mean, you had the ambulance and the medical staff out there, you know, for obviously for Brad Maddox. But
that was the funny thing, because Maddox came down, the ambulance started going. I thought, is his theme song right to Senses or something?
Scott Steiner's in the building.
Scott Steiner, yes.
Big Papa Pump, holler if you hear me!
And the thing I noticed about this is...
he just needs to move his arm. You know you're a great crowd manipulator when moving your arm like that gets the crowd to chant your catchphrase. Ryback wins. This was fairly uneventful. Ryback puts him in the ambulance. I really felt they could have done a bit more with this. It just was like generic squash match number 1,000 for Ryback.
Very true. My big prediction for this, for a big surprise, was someone's going to be in the ambulance to drag someone in, take them away. But it looks like, after Brad Maddox's boring promo in his little corner on the screen, I was like, is this where writing him off? Is someone who was in FCW, NXT, just gone now? Because to be honest, I don't really care.
He wasn't ready for primetime TV anyway. I was impressed with his work down at FCW, but he was not ready for primetime TV. Remember that promo we cut in the Our Main event at the UK Raw? It was awful. He is not ready for primetime yet. Kane and Miz versus Rhodes Scholars. As we all saw, Miz was the fans' choice, even though it was obviously rigged. I don't know why they just couldn't announce Miz as the guy that was the 5th guy, rather than going through all the trouble of having a Twitter poll with 2 guys in there that hadn't even been on the show that obviously no one was going to fucking vote for, rigging the fans' votes.
Yeah, the whole voting thing. Yes, Vince McMahon says viewer's choice, but to be honest, it's all Vince McMahon's and WWE's. Santino and Ryder didn't even get any TV time, not even a little backstage segment, so to be honest, all the fans saw throughout the night was The Miz.
Exactly, and that is why he got 60% of the votes. Santino only got 4. That's a bit strange. I thought Santino was a bit more popular than that. But it looks like Miz is now babyface, so I'd like to know what you guys think of Miz as a babyface down in the comment section below. Do you think we need a new babyface with a bit of edge like Miz, or do you think they're just going to turn him into generic babyface number 4 or 5 in the WWE, which a lot of people are then going to find boring? I guess that's my question. They seem to want to tease some more between Miz and Daniel Bryan than anything else in this segment, really, didn't they?
Well, to be honest, eventually I think it's going to come Kane versus Bryan. It looks like Bryan may be leaning towards heel, especially if Miz is the face. So to be honest, that could be another match coming down the line.
And Kane gets the victory.
Yeah.
Yay. I mean, did we even really get any proper announcement of the 5-on-5 Survivor Series match in the show? I mean, like, proper, like, this match is going to be on the pay-per-view. All the pictures of all 5 of the guys.
Well, we've got that once, but...
We got it. Well, they didn't really hammer it down home very well, did they? I mean, that was one big thing I had about this show. They didn't really hammer down the Survivor Series build. It was a freaking going show. 3 weeks build is stupid.
Sadly, but there is one thing about this match. This match we saw here, minus the Miz and put Bryan there, we're seeing on Wednesday for the WWE Tag Team Championships.
Another example of WWE putting out way too many shows and having to put pay-per-view matches on them to satisfy the ratings. Just ridiculous. That's going to be another thing we'll be discussing on that video, the overuse of WWE shows. And our main event of the evening, another problem with the WWE right now is the fact that we see the same old shit over and over again. John Cena versus CM Punk. We saw it on pay-per-view now 4 or 5 times in the last year. We've seen it on Raw now twice. I mean, how many times can WWE just put out the same old match? These two always have great matches, but it's like AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels in TNA. Eventually, they're going to do everything they can that's new, and nothing is new. And this was another example in this match. It was a good match, but there was nothing new about it to keep me entertained.
To be honest, the fact that we've got like TLC matches after the Rumble, there's a fact we could probably see this match again because, to be honest, right back in the main event, I'm not sure how long that's going to last, so it's probably going to come back to Cena and Punk again.
And it's just another example of the lack of star power in WWE. Another thing we will be discussing in that Wednesday video, where they have to give us John Cena and CM Punk all the frickin' time. Remember when they did that with Cena and Orton? They just have to give us the same damn match over and over again, because there's no one else good enough or pushed enough to be put into that main event scene. I mean, for fuck's sake. Punk does a terrible Macho Man elbow. I'm sorry for all you CM Punk fans out there, but he does a terrible Macho Man elbow. John Cena also does a terrible STF. I'm just saying, and that's supposed to be one of his finishers. Punk walks out of the match, but Ryback is there to stop him. Cena gets the win, and we get another Cena and Ryback face-off, which people really didn't care about that much.
Even though I went into this match thinking Cena's going to win this, because I think after Punk's promo and with Foley there, I didn't really see CM Punk winning. And the other thing is, little joke here, when you were having Cena and Ryback picking over the WWE Championship, I was like, Cena was saying, I'm the WWE Champion, Ryback was like, no, I'm the WWE Champion. There's a little joke there between the two, but another stare down where none of them got beat down or knocked down, so normal finish.
Another joke for you, NJ, and one that was trending on Twitter earlier. Feed me less.
Oh, yes.
So Cena beats CM Punk. Way to make your WWE Champion and top heel on Raw look strong going into the pay-per-view. I don't know. Another great example of overly strongly booking babyfaces, which is another issue with the WWE and why people are tuning out the product, which we will also be discussing on Wednesday. So, dare I ask you your overall thoughts on this edition of Raw, NJ?
You could say numerous matches tonight led towards the Virus Series, but like I said at the beginning, it's a week late because the fact they've messed up the last 2 weeks, opposite way round, it's left this show to hurry things across. Some filler-looking style stuff, but overall, the E and Entertainment weren't there, so it's only World Wrestling here.
It's not even really wrestling. I mean, it's just short matches and 3 hours to fill. I mean, for God's sake, Big 4 pay-per-view, and we have 5 matches, and we have a Divas title match and a US Championship match, which I really don't give a shit about. So there's only 3 matches there, which I really can actually probably get emotionally invested in. And my question out there to you guys is, do you really care about Survivor Series? Because I really don't. They've only given it 3 weeks of build. They've changed the build now. You know, they've changed the build so much now. They haven't really given us that great of an undercard, and we're probably going to get loads of filler matches. So I really don't care about Survivor Series. I really don't.
Sadly, I've been saying this from probably week 1 when the team was announced. I really want to think this is a great team. This is exactly what I want to see at Survivor Series, not compared to what we've had in the past. So the WWE, you might perform great at Survivor Series, but we don't really care. Lack
of roster, another thing we will be discussing on the why people are tuning out the WWE video on Wednesday. So we hope you enjoyed this Raw review. Overall, again, I'm just not very interested in this Raw right now. It's 3 hours long. It's really diminishing my entertainment of watching wrestling right now, unfortunately, and I don't like saying that as a WWE fan. So put your thoughts on this edition of Raw down in that comment section below. Look out for that Wednesday video that we're going to be doing, and make sure you go and vote on OKFabe's poll, which will be linked in the description box down there.
And even though Terminator NJ weren't here tonight, expect him to come soon, because I'm sure he has quite a lot to say about the WWE. I'm not saying this guy want to see him, but he's not happy with the direction WWE have gone in. But anyway, this Raw, it's done what it needs, only what it could do for Survivor Series, but the entertainment weren't there.